Ladies and gentlemen of the SRG universe, the following program is scheduled for one fall. This is Talk of the Universe.
Hello, folks, and welcome to this week's episode of Talk of the Universe. I am one of your hosts, Mr. Chibi. Here we've got Practicide up in the screen, and thankfully not in the moon. We have Brian Wait for It Schmidt. How are you doing? What?
Well, yeah, because you said it was okay to be in the moon, and then he had this look of horror, and then the feed froze, and now he's probably dead or worse. Probably worse. He's probably not dead. Which is worse. It's worse than that.
Of course, we got to go with that. Okay.
It is.
But yes, the boss is otherwise
digitized,
unable to be here tonight, so we're gonna have someone else joining us a little later on. But before that happens, let's go ahead and go into your 3 Ps, your post, your promo, and your photo of the week.
All of it.
Ooh, what's up, all you cat daddies and kitten mummies of the SRG universe? It is your friend, the affectionate fella here, and I want to talk to you about why I can't stop dancing. Because this Sunday we have ourselves an old school tournament match between your friend and mine, the Titan, and he's gonna be taking on the chiropractor. Now, those two guys are two funky cats, you know what I'm saying? Now, Paul Morrell, the chiropractor, got himself a friend in the back, and the Titan got himself a friend in me. The affectionate guys here. But let me tell you, this match, it's allowed us to groove all night long. So best prepare yourself, SRG Universe, because y'all gonna be in for one funky fight. Ooh.
Wow. And I can't wait to see how funky of a fight this is gonna be.
Right? Like how much funk we talking here? Are we talking George Clinton funk? Because we got the funk. We gotta have the funk. Yeah, I just dated myself, didn't I?
Yes, you did.
God damn
so hard.
Oh, man.
All right. Let's get away from that and go into the post of the week. How's that sound?
That works for me because I don't want to make myself even look older. It comes from
One Matt Haas.
Oh God, yes, Matt Haas. I'll zoom it in a little bit because I know
2025. It's finally happened. Number one big goal down, 3 to go. After getting all 4 of these goals, I'm still playing Super Show, but I'm pretty much aimed for 2 major things by achieving these accolades. 1, get up there with the rest of the grandmasters of this game. 2, have more fun in the process, thinking of breaking out those props again. Thank you all for believing in me. Sometimes you need to abandon all you know in order to adapt to what's current and will give you results. Never feel afraid to change your formula or the way you go about things. And we got Super Show goals. First goal, win a CAC. Checked off. We still got win a national title, win a Thursday night fights, and get a membership ring.
Wow. I checked.
Hefty goals. Granted, I don't know. Jeremy, what makes you a grandmaster in this game? Because if anyone is a grandmaster, it would probably be you.
Well,
Yeah,
that's
probably.
just a matter of perception, and like, if you're having fun playing Super Show and it adds to your life in that manner, that is the only thing that really truly matters.
Yeah.
However, it is good to have goals. It's good to strive for things. So if Matt is thinking about this term grandmaster, then he is the one who's defining this term. I don't particularly have a definition for grandmaster because it's not something I think about.
Okay.
So it's, however, he's looking to achieve something that he will view to put him as, I don't know, a top player, however you want to put it, a main event guy, however you want to put it. And we're all just going to have different definitions of what that means.
Okay. Makes sense.
So it's like he as someone who's won a CAC, nobody can ever take that away from him.
Definitely not.
When you've done something cool, nobody can ever take it away from you. And so he deserves to be very happy. Well, he has earned the right to be very happy about that achievement, and I'm very happy for him.
And we'll talk a little more about it as we look into Week in Review. But before we go into that, let's go to the photos of the week. I say photos because there's a lot of them from this past CAC.
All right, let's take a look at. Look at these handsome, especially this guy right here. Look at this guy. Look at that swaggy. Look at that swag right there. That is Elder Daniel, the Lord of the Dance, Swaggy D, and the Influencer. The Influencer taking a lot of photos this past weekend. As you can see, some videos. Yeah, we're not going to show that. P with his wise man against, I don't know who that is, but look at that. Aww.
Which wise man?
The fake wise man, Jason Poisson.
Okay.
Penguin and Molly. Oh, that was Griff. Okay, thank you, Jay. A random Sith. Your LFF Tri-State Tag Team Champions. Go Birds. Look at that handsome man above P. Look at that man right there.
His new leader.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
All these wonderful pictures from this past. What is this? Matt Nealon. And there's dinner right after the event. There you go.
Very nice. Very nice. Awesome things shown off.
Yes.
And we will go over the CAC at the end of Week in Review. But before, let's go ahead and once again thank everyone for all those wonderful pictures, the posts, the promos. Continue to do them so we can do this segment every single week.
Yes, please and thank you. We appreciate everything you guys do and all the love you share with us. So
All right, so let's go ahead and kick off weekend review the best way we can with Thursday night. Why? Because Thursday night is the best night for Super Show action. Chibi's Thursday. What?
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 We had a trios title match last week too.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Oh, okay.
What?
Following Talking Universe, we had a trios title match as Ron Rumble took on Ronnie Roms, Ron versus Ron, and the trios champ came up on top. You could say it was the better Ron, but there's no one better than anyone else in this game. Not even by names, unless you're a kid. But your winner, and still LFF Trios champion, Ron Rumble with an Impact Bomba.
Impact Bomba.
Yes.
Congratulations, Ron.
All right, go ahead.
All right. Thursday night fights number 182. We had our top cut a cage match into a dark match. Our top 4 is as follows. In 4th place, the Enforcer as the Enforcer. As well, we had Brian Wait For It Schmidt as Nyrab.
Yeah.
In 2nd place, the Foreman as the Vampire Hunter Foreman.
Oh?
Foreman's been doing great things on Thursday nights.
Yes.
But 1st place, the returning Chris Pate as Sammy the Draw Callahan. Congratulations there, Pate. It's good to finally see you back where you belong, on top. All right. That leads us into Saturday. Saturday, we had an event called UCW Honorbound, hosted by the Foreman. And I don't have any competitors. I do have a top 8. We had... Oh, I don't know who this is because it just says the computer ate me.
Wait, what?
Someone got eaten by the computer.
Oh,
But the next...
Are you
Yeah.
working from the post or the email?
I'm working off of the challenge. Oh, was there an email?
Yes.
Do you have the email info?
I sent it to you.
Oh, darn it.
All right. Let me open it up.
Mhm.
It's gonna be a minute.
go to
So do the next one. We'll come back to this one.
yeah. All right. So the next one is
All right.
Sunday Night Fights, right?
Yes, Sunday Night Fights.
This past Sunday Night Fights, we had one triad match for the Midwest Coast Championship as the vacant belt was on the line as Chris Pate as Big Bad Bobby D took on the Meeple as the Meeple version 1 and Matt Pineapple as El Super Hombre version 1.
Okay.
And your winner, a new Midwest Coast champion, Matthew Pineapple as Super Hombre. Now, Hombre is going to be really hard to beat with that belt. Hombre has a +3 on his 3rd breakout roll.
I mean, Hombre is just hard to beat no matter what.
Yeah, but this just makes him even more like bulletproof, to say the least.
Okay. So we got the top 4 from this. We got in 4th
Yeah.
place from the UCW, We have the
United
Tartan
Championship
Terror.
Wrestling.
United Championship Wrestling. The Tartan Terror. In 3rd place, we had Ricky Riot. In 2nd place, we had Eddie Fury. And in 1st place, and number 1 contender for the UCW Championship belt, Mr. Ronnie Roms.
Oh.
And the new United Championship Wrestling champion is Colin Simon, the Zombie, in a match that happened after the event. Congratulations there.
Congratulations to the Zombie, to the Chrononaut.
The zombie,
All right.
not the Chrono Zombie.
The Chrono
The
Zombie.
Chrono.
The Crombie.
All right, that leads us into Monday Night Fights, hosted by Brian Wait For It Schmidt.
Me?
Yes, you.
Oh, me.
Yeah, we had a top 4 for that one as well. In 4th place, we had Brian Waitford Schmidt as Nyrab. In 3rd place, we had the TVA commissioner bringing the Kickstarter version of D2.
Mm-hmm.
In 2nd place, Ricky Riot as Theo, the Greek Neo. And in 1st place, bringing light to Monday Night Fights, we had Elder Dan as Father Light.
Praise be.
That's for another group, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, that's that. You're thinking about the Grump. What you should
Yeah.
have said is you let him in, which they did let him in because you won the tournament.
No, I mean, like,
All
he's
right,
got money. So, yeah.
That leads us to Tuesday Night Dojo, where we were all asking, where is Mitchell Manja? Did
We
you
had a
find
bunch
him,
of
Schmidt?
people send us tips. Some of them were useful, some of them were not. A bunch of people promoted things, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But we also had a lot of fun. And Brian, how much money was spent by the crowd of the dojo?
The crowd in the dojo, if we're going to include the Evil Ed gift cards. So Evil Ed put a bounty on both players and a double bounty on Simple Chuck. So
Yeah,
20
Simple Chuck and the Goat Brock Smith were
correct.
the house.
Were the house, and they both had $25 gift card bounties on them from Evil Ed, and they were collected.
Yep.
But including that, so that's $75 because he put another one on Chuck. We're looking at over $200 in donations towards the Twitch stream. So, and to help find Mitchell Manja. So thank you very much. And this is one of the highest grossing donation nights on the dojo, next to the finals last year of Faction Fights, where it was the conglomerate. It was a CMAX group versus the Constellation. I think it was like the conglomerate or something. I don't remember. But
And we are 100% sure that he is not locked in a basement. Correct?
I'm 100% sure about that. We've checked. I've had Detective Slater Clade go look for in said basement in upstate Michigan. So I think we're good with that. So he's definitely not in Brock's basement.
Okay, good.
Well,
right,
I mean, that's not Brock's basement. That's
that's
the
Professor
professor's
Menzel.
basement.
Yeah.
But
He's got-
besides
and,
that,
and all the cells down there are full, as I understand it.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, besides that, we had one card go on sale last night.
2 cards.
2 cards. Okay, and what are they?
Strong Island Tabletop, the 23. That puts your grapple at +2. And Team Valiant with Mass Llama competitors. So the new Team Valiant with the new finishes. Llama. Next week, I have not decided who we're bringing into the dojo. I'm trying to work out something with Boss when he comes back from the moon. Chuck has been sent to summer camp. Yes, we can confirm that. Chuck the only win was from Brock, and the only reason why Long Island Tabletop went on sale is because both people lost. It was a tie in a sketchy backyard. In a sketchy backyard. Yep.
Sketchy backyard ring.
I
thought someone increased the crowd meter too.
Yeah, they did.
Oh my god.
I want to say one other thing about Dojo.
Go ahead.
Because everybody was putting in massive amounts of money to see Brock and Chuck lose the whole time. And Chuck, at TVA Locals, Chuck was insistent that he was going to turn stuff around for. There's no way I'm losing all the games in Dojo. Like he was serious, but he had such a positive attitude through the whole thing, having fun. That's what it's all about. So in my views, that's a good dojo defender.
That was a great dojo.
No matter what was going on, both him and Brock, really, they were both just rolling with it and having a great time and staying very positive. Sometimes when we've had dojo staff in the past or challengers in the past, when the money's going against them, they get grouchy.
Yeah.
But this was phenomenal on both of their parts. So absolutely no, in fact, the opposite of a knock on them. They did magnificent to have such a positive, entertaining energy the whole way through, even though everybody was just shoveling piles of dirt.
God.
Those guys did amazing.
Yes, so this was the first dojo in a long time where I turned off the stream and I'm like, I had a blast. Like, I don't care that we sucked horribly. We had a great time. We had a blast. That's all that mattered to me. We all had fun. And I went to bed smiling. I did. And that's a
Nice.
rare thing for me. So thank you to Chuck and thank you to Brock for actually doing what some people can't do. It was a fun. And also we had Rambo on commentary with us. That was a gem too. Come on. Let's be honest about that. And then Steve woke me up at 8:00 in the morning. That is correct. Yes.
All right.
Anyway, moving forward.
We have our locals report.
Yes, locals.
Mr. Jeremy Steigerwald. What we
Is it-
got, Jeremy?
All right, hold on.
Oh, well, hit it!
LFF Universe, this is Practice Site Jeremy Steigerwald with your locals report for the week of February the 18th. And we have a lot to cover, so let's get right to it. We're going to start off at Recess Games in North Olmsted, Ohio for the Rust Belt. The Rust Belts had a lot going on, and they kicked the night off with a triad match for the Rust Belt X title. The Trash Man, Neil Nealon, using the Prince of GTS. He's the Rust Belt X champion. He defended against both the Lethal Endorser, Joe Gilchrist, and Just John. Joe was using Crash Jackson. John was using Original Alien Invader, but at Crowd Meter 1, your winner and still the Rust Belt X champion, the Trash Man Neil Nealon. Stick a pin on that for later on in the show. Because after that, President's Day Tournament, cards with America in the name had the added text. Your next turn roll is +1 for each other card you have in play with America in the name. We have a top 4, they all coming from the global division. The Lethal Endorser, Joe Gilchrist finishing 4th with Jake Christ. Dangerous Dylan Bias coming in 3rd with Original Flip Gordon. The Dude, Sean Steiner, finishing 2nd with the Strike version of King of Cosplay, Michael Mosley. Taking down the tournament in 1st place, Funtime Bob, using Tetsuya Naito. Now afterwards, there would have been a #1 contender match between the Trash Man and the Dude for a shot at the Rust Belt Championship. But since the Dude's the GM, he gave the Trash Man a choice. He could either vacate the X title and automatically become the #1 contender to the Rust Belt title, or risk it, play the match, keep the Rust Belt X title. Well, the Trash Man is rolling the dice, but he's rolling the dice by giving in the X title for the title shot. So the X title was vacated, and the Trash Man is now the #1 contender to the Rust Belt Championship. So immediately, we had Funtime Bob as Naito taking on the Dude as Jordan Oliver version 2 for the X title. And Funtime Bob, as he won the tournament, continues the winning ways. He is the new Rust Belt X champion with Tetsuya Naito. So next week on the card, Redacted will defend the Rust Belt Championship using the Perfection Shawn Spears. He'll face the Trash Man Neil Nealon, who will be using the Flame Fighter. And the Rust Belt Tag Team Championship event finals, Funtime Bob and Dangerous Dylan Bias will take on Matt Pineapple and Just John to see who will be the inaugural Rust Belt Tag Team Champions. That's going to be next week as well. 6-stop tournament for the next #1 contender to the X title. A lot going on in the Rust Belt, and we will see what happens from there. DWA in Holmes, Pennsylvania, Blue Belt Holmes. They had a tournament, and we have a top 4 in Pennsylvania. In 4th place, Shady Jeff as Ariel Lipstick. In 3rd place, Johnny Extreme as the Rising Sun. Coming in 2nd, the prize fighter Simon Davner as version 2 of D2. But taking the tournament down, it's Big Star Sam. Sam Lacoste as the Tartan Terror, which led into a match for the vacant DWA World Championship, and Big Star Sam had to take on very close to him. He had to take on Kim Lacoste, mother versus son for the title. But the winner And new DWA World Champion is Big Star Sam. Congratulations to Sam, the Delco Wrestling Alliance champion. You got a good one in Big Star Sam. That was Holmes, Pennsylvania on, looks like the 15th. Moving on to Miso's, Louisville, Kentucky. Bad weather, but great Super Show round robin tournament. I have a top 3. In third place, Austin Lucas as Harder Core Slamilton. Second place, Greg Shockley as Lady Outlaw. But taking down the tournament as New Hollow King was Todd Brooks. So congratulations to Todd taking the tournament at Miso's. That's all we have result-wise. That was on the 15th. And wrapping it up, TVA Locals Gravity Games in Huntsville, Alabama. We had a tournament and a lot of big booked matches. So in the tournament, third place, the Possum King. Matthew Gordon as New D2. In second, that would be the 2024 D2. That's 3 times per match with the original gimmick. Second place, Drew Madsen as KO Princess, but winning the whole thing with Ruby Renegade, Trey Cantrell. And Trey had a big day because he also was in a match to determine who would get a shot in the future at the Underworld Championship. And his opponent coming in from Atlanta was Ray Rappaport, Lama Sr. So Trey using Nick Lamai, Ray using Lama Sr., and it was a good match, but taking it down, Trey Cantrell, he will have a shot upcoming at the Underworld title using Nick Lamai. The TVA Championship was also on the line. Rambo Apocalypse defending against Simple Chuck, and Rambo has had a stranglehold on that championship. He is still the TVA Championship after defeating Dwayne Rainey. The LFF Intergalactic title was on the line in an intergalactic title match. Zach Ashley, the champion, defending against the Possum King, who was using a deck entirely dedicated to the Grump, with the Grump on all of the cards, and any slot that didn't have the Grump had a gas member on it. And Zach actually betrayed the gas by using the rack entrance instead of the Grumpy Groupies. So, unfortunately for Possum King, Zach was still willing to beat up the Grump, even though he's a gas member. It was really a shameful display, but Zach actually is still the intergalactic champion in what was a really entertaining match. And also, the new TVA Tornado champion is me. As this is a thing that actually happened. I ended up defeating Ray Rappaport with the Souls Weavers to become the TVA Tornado champion. So it was a great day at Gravity Games. We had a lot of fun, and it's always a lot of fun when you're playing in person with your friends at Locals. It's the lifeblood of Super Show, and keep those home fire burning. We'll see you next week. Let's continue with Talk of the Universe.
For that wonderful Locals report.
Yes.
And hey,
Wait.
we are now joined here.
Oh, hi to the LEO, aka the Law, aka the best damn COO, period, and the best damn, I don't know, guy too, the Law.
Oh yeah, thanks,
Yeah,
man.
right?
Appreciate it. Yeah, thank you guys. Yeah,
Welcome
Yes.
to our humble show.
yeah. I just got back from the freezing cold north. Great time up there to CAC, and then actually very interesting travel on the way back. That instead of landing in Nashville at 8, I ended up back a lot later, due to flying through Chicago and a bunch of other crazy things that happened. But most importantly, the CAC at Rippenship. What a
Yeah.
great spot that is up there. I was Schmidt. I don't know. Have you been to the Rippenship store?
Yeah, I've been to Rip and Ship store a bunch of times. It's a beautiful store. Nice
It is.
play area. TVs all over the place. It's very it's something that it's a great open space for a CAC.
frankly, I was surprised. I just assumed, based on being in the tri-state area, being in Long Island, is going to be kind of a shithole, just like most of the places
Whoa,
up there.
whoa, 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 whoa,
Nothing
whoa,
even
whoa.
close to the deep south. But very surprised, and pleasantly surprised actually, with Rippenship. And my day started out great because I pulled up there about 10 o'clock, expecting the store to already be get in progress and getting open, right?
Yeah.
And nobody was there. Not a single soul was there. And I'm standing on the street corner, like a bunch of you guys up in New York do, and freezing. Had to walk to the Dunkin' Donuts to get some crappy coffee, and made my way back. And I found Rich sitting out front in his car. I leaned in and said, "Hey, brother, are you here for the Super Show?" He said, "Yeah, absolutely. It's my first time."
Wow.
So he let me jump in his car, and I had a great chat with Rich, a new player. And let me tell you something that surprised me even more. He was a new player that was taught how to play by John Polverino.
Oh,
And John Polverino is great player, right? Great Super Show player, but he always wants to be the winner. I was frankly blown away that he even taught somebody else how to play to come in and challenge him. So, big shout out to Polverino for teaching Rich. And I got to meet several other people that actually had been playing another game with Polverino that he brought in to play Super Show. So it was a really good mix up there of, veteran players who have been playing the game for a long time, new players. And then I met a couple guys who played 11 years ago and just came back into the game recently.
Wow.
And so it was really, really cool to kind of see that and see the width and breadth of players that show up at Rippenship. 38 players is how many we had there at the store. Of course, the show was run by one and only GM Calais, who did a fantastic job of running that event. And of course, it's on Challenge. So if you weren't following along with the event on Challenge, that's kind of, you're missing out, because that was a great way to track that and to see who everybody's playing and to see who they're playing against. 5 rounds of Swiss. We had I think it was like a 30-minute time limit, give or take, on those rounds. I, for one, proposed 15 minutes. I felt like that I can get that done. Why can anybody else? And true to form, the first round, I was actually paired against Elder Dan, which is probably a screw job built in there by GM Calais. But, he claims it's random. Unfortunately, I had to put Elder Dan down in like 5 minutes. So, if you couldn't get your match done in the time frame, what are you doing? I did it in 5 minutes. But anyways, great rounds of Swiss. A lot of great players up there. I felt like I had a very hard battle through that. I ended up playing John Polverino. I played Ethan into Black Star during that. So I had some tough games coming out of there, and I don't think anybody that played had an easy game, had a bye built in there. Every single player, including the new players, were great players at the game. And so no one had an easy route through that. And it ended up, going into the final, the top 16, with only 2 undefeated players. Originally, it was Matt Haas, myself, and Simon Davner that were undefeated going to the last round. And I took the loss to Davner in a hard-fought game. One of the most fun games I played that day. And then in the Top Cut, Top Cut got wild. Top 16, as cut by Challenge. So there was no tricks in 86. It was exactly what the computer put out.
Mm-hmm.
I think it did a great job pairing people and getting people into that final stage. And, top 16, listen to these names you have in top 16 here. Simon Davner, Carlos Lumbry, Swaggy D, Clifford, new guy Clifford, Ethan, Gagnelli, Candyman Dan, Canning, who is a guy who had played back in the very first days of Super Show and came back in the Top Cut, Matt Haas, Taylor, Google Docs Dan, Gropak, myself, Laura the Dance, Polverino, and DeWitt, another new player. So just look at that Top Cut, and you got kind of 2 areas. You got like really high level players, and you have some newer guys that made Top Cut, and I'm somewhere in between there. But that's a perfect example of what Super Show should be, is that you can pick up a deck, you can make a deck and come in to a high level competition and play and make yourself into the Top Cut in a CAC.
Yeah.
First round, of this was, I believe it was steel cage for every single player. So steel cage, every single event. I got matched against Lord of the Dance. Great game. Coming out of those there into round 2, into the top, was it 2, 4, 6, 8?
Top eight,
You ended up with Swaggy D versus Simon Davner, Ethan versus Candyman Dan, Matt Haas versus Google Docs Dan, and myself against Press 1P. So, unfortunately, you saw some of those new players or some of the less experienced players fall off in the top 16, moving to the top 8. But hey, ultimately, we ran into a pretty strong top 8. Top 8, we knew what stipulations were coming in, but they were randomly given to each player. So I ended up with Steel Chain. Someone had Ring of Fire. There's a Liger's Den. I can't remember the other one. They're not put in here. I was too focused on my game against Press 1P, which was a cerebral matchup. I typically don't get nervous. I typically play a pretty fast and loose game.
Yeah.
But that game, which was the tail end of it, I think, was streamed on Facebook. If you go back and watch any of that, man, that was a banger of a match. And that was going back and forth. And ultimately, it really came down to a dice roll. Tables match. Thank you, Bamada. It came down to a tables match. It came down to like a dice roll there with Father Light. I happened to hit the gimmick. It drew out his 26, and ultimately that was what ended up winning the game there. Pulver and I
Power of the light there.
My gosh, let me tell you, we got into a situation where it's pass and bury, and it was, do you go aggressive? Do you go not aggressive? I mean, it was back and forth all the time. It was amazing. Loved it. But I was so stressed at the end of that one. And then we go into semifinals. We end up with Davner versus Ethan and myself versus Matt Haas. Now, what was crazy about this is that GM Clays gave us 90 seconds to come together with our opponent and pick a stipulation. Okay. We had 90 seconds. We had to agree. Simon Davner and Ethan reached an agreement on Steel Chain within 15 seconds of the offer, maybe even less than that. I'm facing Sabu. Sabu, this deck that Matt Haas is running, I think every single card triggered gimmick and made him draw a billion cards. I mean, he drew through his whole deck in several matches, like in 3 turns, it felt like. So going into it, I knew that a steel cage match, I was screwed. There's nothing I could do about it unless, the dice gods smiled upon me and my dice just happened to behave. So I proposed. Actually, I didn't propose. I demanded that we play a steel chain match. Of course, he didn't want that, right? He draws, I draw. Perfect for me, terrible for him. I said, listen, I'm just playing a steel chain match. That's the only stipulation I will play. Now, part of that is I just played a steel chain match, so I knew what the crowd meter did. To be real frank with everybody, I had no idea what the other crowd meters did. Mm-hmm. So I was a little bit worried about like a Ring of Fire. Probably shouldn't have been about that.
That would have probably been your best bet.
Yeah.
Probably. But listen, I don't play that often. And I have to have some help tell me what is good for me and bad for them, right? So I told Matt, steel chain, that's it. That's all we're doing. And then he proceeded to take 90 plus seconds looking up crowd meters, asking questions. And, I said, hey, either we leave that and go to random or you agree with me. At 92 seconds in, he said, let's just play a steel chain match. But it was 92 seconds in. And if not, I'm a man of honor. So I said, listen, that's too long. We got to go to random. So the screw job happened again with Tim White, the fireman. I think he probably did it on purpose because the kind of rivalry there in first responders. He picked number 3. I believe that he had seen over GM Clay's shoulder that number 3 was a steel cage match. Who knows?
Was it an electrified steel cage that is somehow filled with water match?
Oh my gosh, it was terrible. And then steel cage match was drawn, and I looked over at Jason Fasone, and I was like, well, screwed, right? And sure enough, I got the beat down on my life in that steel cage. However, what happened in that match could have changed history here because the second to last turn roll, we bumped. Matt had 1 card in hand.
Oh,
I drew the finish submission, steel cuffs.
Oh,
and steel cuffs had won like 3 games earlier today. I knew it was going to hit. It was going to be lights out. So we bump. Last roll comes up, and of course my dice falls short, and he gets the turn, plays the last card, and wins. I went ahead and rolled my finish roll to see what would happen. It was a 9. I put down people earlier on a 9, so the one roll that cost me the whole tournament because I easily would have crushed Ethan playing Jay White. I probably would have crushed Davner again had I got to play him again in the finals. But either way, Matt Haas with a great deck build and some hot dice went on to the finals. And then if you didn't watch
Oh my god.
That main event.
That main
the
event.
main event CAC match,
Oh my god.
let me tell you something. But here, let me give you some advice before you sit down and watch it. Definitely watch it.
Yes.
But before you do it, pour yourself a big glass of alcoholic beverage or eat an edible and make sure you have some Tums with you to stop the heartburn from all the
Oh my god.
craziness that was that match. Because the anxiety and among all the other players standing around watching that match, I needed to smoke a cigarette after that, and I don't smoke, folks. Let me just tell you something. It was.
I was watching it via phone. I was watching it via the stream, and I'm like screaming at the top of my lungs, "Please, for the love of God, keep hitting that finish. Don't like spread it out." Like
Listen, there's Super Show has. I don't really think that has a meta. I mean, I think people trying to think that there is some sort of meta, like, hey, these cards are hot right now or whatever. But I haven't changed my deck since Bell made it for me 3 months ago. I've been playing it in every single match, in every single tag team match. So
King Pink uses the same deck.
yeah, I mean, look, John Paul Verino, King Pink, Chris Pate. I don't even know if they changed any cards in their stuff. So I mean, there's not a meta, but let me tell you something. One thing about Super Show is if you throw the finish and they've stopped it for the 3rd time, it's gonna hit the 4th time.
Yeah. Every time.
I mean, every time. Every time, unless you're running some wild stuff. But listen, they stop it with their skill stop. They stop it with their C1 stop one. They stop it with their stop any. The 4th time it's going to hit.
Yeah, right.
It should hit.
Unless they keep blowing up their own cards and getting those stops back, yes.
Yeah.
Also, I mean, there was a deck tech that happened earlier on the big picture, and maybe they're talking some strategy, but I'll give you a little secret here, little strategy talk on how to play Super Show. If you have the option to bury a card in your opponent's discard pile and they have no deck, don't put a card that is a stop any card with a retrieval, like a Beg for Mercy, we'll call it. Right?
Yeah.
Don't put a Beg for Mercy that's live back on deck. Leave that in the discard. Leave it there. Leave it there. My gosh. So, anywho, Matt Haas with Sabu takes the win there after the crowd was chanting buffet the whole time. And but hey, good for him, great for him. That top 4, I don't believe any of the top 4 has ever won a CAC.
No, Davner hasn't won. No one in that top 4 has ever won a CAC.
So great stuff. I think Davner was probably playing for somebody else. I was playing for myself because why not? I'm not giving it away. I'm going to play for myself. But we need a keeper. I was playing for Keeper of the Light. I was going to put Keeper of the Light in the game. We have Father Light, Keeper of the Light, Elder Dan. We needed a keeper in there. But Matt Haas with the win over Ethan. That was just the CAC. In and amongst all of that, we had 3 other matches that went on. We had the heavyweight, the hardcore belt, which was Shaggy against, tell me somebody.
John Von Masick.
That's right, John Von Masick.
Yep.
And Shaggy going over there in a Raven's Blood Cemetery match.
Yep, Raven's Blood.
That one.
Yep.
And then during the main event, Simon Davner and Tim White sat down and started, I think 10, 15 minutes after the main event started. And they played into a crowd meter 4 main event match for the Deep Six. And Simon Davner went over there. It's hard to see that match in the stream, but man, you could hear it. And The energy there was fantastic. Simon Dadner, I think, hit like all 4 finishes, but Tim White kept on kicking out that main event match. So that was a great match to watch as it went on. And then I don't know if Simon planned this on purpose just to beat Ethan down even further after he took an L in the main event.
Yeah.
But as soon as that main event was over, Simon Dadner lined him up for the Tri-State title match and beat him in like 3 turns.
Yeah.
I mean, he was tired. He was exhausted. Should that match have been played at another point in time? I don't know. But, if I'm Simon, I agree. I'm playing it right then and there. Why would you not, right? But unfortunately for Ethan, he went down against Simon, and Simon walked in with 2 belts and walked out with 2 belts. So, great weekend for him. Top 4, 2 belts. Fantastic job.
Fantastic.
Great time up there. Great store. Too cold. Didn't rained on me the whole time. So that was kind of crappy. But then afterwards, I had a great time. Not as Father Light, but myself and Clace had a nice dinner. Hit the craps table a little bit later. Had some good bourbon that evening. So it was a well-rounded, fun time at Rip and Chip. And LGA is cheap to fly into, folks. It's not a bad flight, depending on where you're flying. If you're flying out of Nashville or Atlanta, it's a really good flight. So if you ever want to go back up to Rip and Chip or the LCAC again, I would encourage you to go up there and do that. Just like I would encourage you guys to head down to Florida March 1st.
Yep.
I actually looked at tickets today to thinking about doing the same thing, a turn and burn. Fly in March 1st, land, whip ass, and then fly out Sunday morning back to the great state of Tennessee. Been looking at it. The price is right. Maybe I'll show up down there and put my hands on a bunch of the people at House Rules Gaming. The perk there, if I fly, Southwest will give me a companion pass and I can fly, and Bell can fly free wherever I go for a while there. So that's also a perk, So I don't know, but
we did have one of the
House
match.
Rules.
We did have one of the match law.
That's right.
Yeah, John P versus the Cheetah for the best Adriana D player in the LFF, and Cheetah got countered out.
He did.
He
Cheetah,
no-showed.
I have
Cheetah
questions.
kind of screwed his tag team partner up there too.
Yeah, he did.
I wasn't going to bring it up because allegedly there was snow. I was in New York. I didn't see any snow, but whatever. We were supposed to finish the Captain Con tag team tournament there.
Yeah,
that's really the only reason I mean, it's great that I did so good in the CAC, but I really was up there to play with my tag team partner and beat down Cheetah and Penguin again, so we could secure that Captain Con tag team title, and likely that would take us on to the LFF tag team title. Which, listen, Steve and I would carry those titles, and we'd probably be just as good, if not better, than the Dangerous Alliance in defending those titles once we get them. But
yeah,
needless to say, I flew up there. Turns out my tag team partner had some mix-up in travel. Couldn't get back in time.
He's actually, if you take a look right now, where
He's in the moon.
he's in the moon. See,
It's
right
not
there.
in the moon.
He's in the moon.
moon.
He's in the moon. Look, see, he's frozen in the moon.
That's it. Listen,
He's been digitized. He's being tortured.
it wasn't his fault. I mean, he from what I understand, he got into the Uber to head that way.
Yep.
The Uber driver mistook the directions. He ended up heading to the airport. Didn't know what was going on there. I don't know if he was kidnapped per se. I'm not going to go out and say that, but I just know that he ended up going to the wrong place. So Cheetah, though, had no excuse. He could have been there for his tag team partner, Penguin. A lot of respect for the Penguin there, who showed up as well. And I kind of tend to agree with Steve here. I think that if you abandon your tag team partner, that should be a loss. So I think they should
Double
be given
loss
a
right there.
loss.
Exactly.
And yeah, I'm fair. I get it. My partner wasn't there for me either. So we should have taken a loss as well. I think both teams should have taken a loss. That seems like it's fair to me.
And that would make you guys the winners of the.
Listen, it is what it is. I mean, that's just the way the world works. Sometimes it's not fair. Sometimes it is.
No, that's very fair.
Giving us both a loss was what should have happened. But now I got to play online, which I don't know how great I'm going to do online. I thrive in person. much better situation in person. But
Yeah.
we'll see at some point in time when our schedules align. Steve and I will get together and take care of the Animal Kingdom there and put them down, secure ourselves as the Captain Con Tag Team Champions, and then go on to win the LFF Tag Team.
And we will make
shot.
sure to stream
That
that
will
match
be
because that one will be premium.
Yes, that will
Absolutely.
Be, yeah, will definitely be on Sunday Night Fights, subscriber only. You know,
Yeah, we need
tier
like a
3
$4.99.
subscriber only. Yep.
You know,
No, the $24.99 group.
You know,
Well,
so here's the thing. You know, there's a lot. As much as I love to make money and do that, I don't want to deprive the people that couldn't afford $24.99. You know,
Okay, fair.
with the ability to watch the performance that Steve and I'll put on against Animal Kingdom.
Okay.
So I'd be willing $4.99. I think that's fair. It's reasonable. You know, I mean, you're going to get your money's worth at $4.99.
Yeah,
You'll get your money's worth at $24.99. But at $4.99, you know, tell your friends, tell your mom, they're going to want to see it. You know, I'm going to wear a tank top or something, show the guns off, you know, so, you know, it'll draw a lot of dimes.
I'll have to put a new drop saying those aren't, those aren't real weapons.
So, I mean, they could be, buddy. But so great time.
What my takeaway from this though is, okay, John P can pass Cheetah for the best Adriana D player, but he hasn't passed me yet.
Hey, we got another match scheduled for that.
Schedule that match.
I mean, certainly another match. I mean, that would be a good match to maybe warm the crowd up with.
Undefeated. I'm like 3-0.
Yeah.
Makes me the best. Never lost.
Listen, Deep South will put the beat down on the tri-state area again for many times. I mean, listen, I went there and ran through tri-state players. So, I mean, y'all are lucky that TVA and the ACCW didn't show up to rip and ship. Or this whole bracket that I'm looking at would have been probably the opposite. It would have been all Deep South and maybe one tri-state player. So this tri-state's lucky that they
too close to Orlando.
That's it. It is, you know. Speaking of Deep South and all other kind of stuff, I mean, there's a lot. CAC's all over the place. It's like CAC season, right?
Yeah.
So this
March
is the perfect
1st, house
time
rules
to
we talked about.
You want to get those spoilers
go
out?
into looking forward. Let's go ahead and put up the because I know you had it up for a little bit, Schmidt, but it wasn't centered. Go ahead and put up.
Okay, I'll put it up again. There we go. Boom. I don't make it big.
For Sunshine SmackDown 2025, Saturday, March 1st, 2025.
Look at that. You got great competitor at House Rules Gaming. And lots of great matches on the card, too. You get the Underworld Championship, which will be a good one. TVA Commissioner versus the Chiropractor. Chiropractor, you know, of course, came in as one of our new players several years ago at Southern Fried, won the ring, defended the ring against the other player, new player at Southern Fried the next year. I mean, great player. I mean, if we're going to call these matches early, I'm calling this one though for TVA Commissioner retains.
Yeah.
Here that Mimic deck is so strong, and I don't think that the Chiropractor has a shot here. I think if you look at the GOAT Sports books, I think that Chiropractor is a huge underdog. I haven't checked it recently,
especially against Mimic. Mimic versus Kota Ibushi. You got to give the favor to Mimic.
100%.
You might give him a favor, but say no shot.
No shot.
Chiropractor. It says TVA Chiropractor, but he's ACCW as well.
Yeah, listen, he's my private chiropractor, mine and Bell's when we come down to the Atlanta area. You know, we always contract him for our events in order to get us squared away for everything. So, but
he could be coming in with the momentum of being the new ACCW champion, as not with Kota Ibushi, but Paul has a shot to become the ACCW champion this upcoming weekend. So that would be a lot of momentum, could carry him through. But Mimic,
at the same time, he takes a loss there at the ACCW event, and then walks into March 1st with a loss under his belt. I mean, either way, I think Commissioner here takes it. LFF Trios Championship, Rookie of the Year, Ron Rumble versus Arcade Addict Aaron.
Quick turnaround for Rumble.
My Girl.
Yeah.
So this is tough because I know we're not going into predictions right now, but I'm gonna do it anyways because here I am.
My guess.
Run Rumble, I think, is probably the stronger player, but the My Girls trio is so good.
Yeah.
I think you're putting a little bit of disrespect on Arcade Aaron just because he doesn't play in as many online. And My Girls is My Girls is My Girls. That gimmick can just win games by itself.
I think I think this is a toss-up here.
Yeah, but remember how you were talking about Sabu drawing through his deck so fast? The family draws through its deck faster than Sabu.
This is
It's
true.
true.
It's
true.
insane. They're also the family's gimmick. You can fight me on this. It's better than my girl's gimmick. They don't have their own finishes, but you never know when the person's packing winner circle. You never know what you're going to get there. So the family is also a very strong competitor.
But you also got
so I
real
think-
finishes for
Yeah.
my girls.
Yeah.
Aaron's gonna have to earn this one, but he very well could.
Definitely.
Yeah. So if I'm gambling here, unless I'm parlaying this with this, which I'll probably lay a parlay on this event. But if I'm betting individually here, I'm staying away from the LFF Trios Championship. I think it's too much of a toss-up to bet on. So ultimately, I'm going to give it to Ron Rumble. But I think that this could easily be. I think we're looking at like a -110, -100 type of situation here on the
Right,
LFF Trios Championship.
My favorite title match on this card.
A tornado.
Reverend Goodbrain versus Slade Holiday.
Corner office is Philadelphia. I think if you check the books on this one, Brain is again by far one of the high and away favorite in this matchup.
Yep.
He's in his hometown. He's playing the corner office. It's going to be an uphill battle for Slade here with Philadelphia. Can it be done? Of course, right? Of course.
Yes.
But I think Reverend Goodbrains, in my opinion, he's going to take the win here in the Tornado Championship. He's going to retain.
Yeah, you're gonna have to favor Brain. I think. I don't. If I'm remembering Philadelphia correct, nobody's gonna have a gimmick in this match.
No one's gonna have a gimmick in this match.
So it comes down to deck build, but don't underestimate Slade. He certainly has a chance, but it will be an upset if he wins.
Then you got the LFF Tornado #1 contendership here. New York
Phenom versus
Phenom
Flame Fighter.
for Flame Fighter.
Ooh, Twisted Aggressor versus Samuel Fulton. This is gonna be interesting.
So, man, as much as I want to give this to the Flame Fighter, I hold grudges, and I think I kind of hope that Jason comes down to Florida and puts his hands all over the Flame Fighter here. I'm not sure who I'd honestly get it to. I think I'd probably lean towards the Phenom, but I think if the Flame Fighter's dice get hot, unintended, I think he could end up really putting up a fight here. But ultimately, I think that Phenom's going to get this match.
Yeah, I think I got faith in the Phenom on this one. Tri-State's going to come down and get that.
Well, it's the Midwest. It's an interesting fight here. This is Midwest Coast versus Tri-State.
Yeah,
for the Tornado contendership in the Deep South.
In the Deep South.
You got Reverend Goodbrains, the FCW Open Challenge there. That'll be interesting to see who.
Yeah.
I'll be interested who is allowed to challenge for this Open Challenge. Will Reverend Goodbrains be brave enough to put the FCW Championship on the line against an ACCW player or a TVA player? I don't know. I mean, that would be interesting. The battle, and if that happens, we could figure out the consequences at Southern Fried.
Local belts have traveled far distances before.
Yep.
Absolutely. So interesting to see what happens there. I tell you what, if Brain opens that up for outside of FCW and lets ACW or TVA come in, I think there is definitely a real world of possibility where an ACCW player or TVA player walks out of FCW holding their title belt, and maybe they get settled at Southern Fried in June. I don't know.
Bob's been the FCW champion for a very long time. No one's really touched that belt to my knowledge. He's had that belt for like 2.5 years.
So he might be willing to defend that against literally anyone.
Yeah, that could be a wild match. Deep South Tag Team Tournament.
Deep South Tag Team Tournament, open 24/7 title play, and it's also a CAC on top of everything else.
I mean, gosh, dog, what
a packed day.
It absolutely is.
For 2 days.
Yeah.
Because if there's a tag tournament, it'd be on Sunday.
Yes.
Oh, interesting.
But the CAC would be on Saturday.
Yes.
I do have breaking news from the LFF Trios general manager. The winner of the Trios title match next opponent will be Chris Pate as the NWO.
Oh, okay.
Interesting. Interesting. Speaking of titles, before I roll out of here, We were up at Captain Con,
Okay.
and
Heard of it.
the Deep South Championship Chuck has.
Correct.
And beforehand, they were talking about, hey, who's going to be at Captain Con for challenge for this belt? And there was some inside jobs going on here because Trey Cantrell ended up challenging for it. When, if you read the chat, it sounded like, if you read the comments on there, it sounded like Father Light should have been the one to go up against Chuck.
Didn't Father
I
Light
mean-
win Dyson Diversions?
Father Light won Dyson Divergence.
Undefeated?
Undefeated. Put his hands all over the players there, and it took down Bell, took down my own wife. Jeremy, had to put my hands on Jeremy. Ron Rumble. I mean, some fantastic players there.
Lauren almost got
Lauren-
you, but fell short in the end.
Lauren put up a heck of a fight there, and honestly, I was terrified there because a couple plays differently from one of the other player, and it was a toss-up game, really. But I did all that, and then at the end of the day, we get Trey Cantrell versus Simple Chuck. I mean, they could have played in their backyard any Tuesday.
Yeah.
You don't get a chance often to step into the ring with myself. So really, what should happen after my stellar performance up in the hellhole that is Long Island is I should be playing against Simple Chuck for the Deep South Championship. Elevate that belt even higher than it already is. Because I travel everywhere. I'm taking that belt everywhere. I'm showing off how fantastic the Deep South is. So, matchmakers that are the GMs of the Deep South title, listen, look at the record. I barely play, but when I do, I win.
That's true.
Ask Chuck. Ask
let-
Chuck
let-
if he's afraid. He's not.
As one of the people that makes decisions on there,
Oh.
after this show, let's talk for a little bit and see if we can't work something out.
There you go.
My fee, I'll waive most of my fee, Jibby. How about that? I'll even waive part of my
Wow.
fee. Well, tell you what, I'll waive my entire fee
Oh.
to show up and beat down Simple Chuck and just, show him what it really means to be the Deep South. He's been colluding with the higher
Ooh.
class way too much. Most of those jokes are out of the North anyways.
We have
Father Light should come down to TVA Locals. When is TVA Locals? When's the next TVA Locals?
I was at the TVA Locals this past weekend. I had a lot of fun.
Deep South GM. There's a proposition in the chat for this title defense, and I like this idea because you're a fan of triple threats, aren't you?
Next month, middle of March. I'm going to be in a cruise next month, middle of March. Tell you what, TVA commish. Chuck's your TVA boy. Chuck's your TVA boy. I mean, even though he's higher class, he's still TVA. You know where I live. It's an hour and a half away. Tell Simple Chuck to get in the car.
No.
Well, he can come right to my door. I'll even get him dinner
Wow,
before I proceed to whip his ass and take that belt.
folks. Just
you know where I live.
so a little history, folks.
Isn't that
Briggs'
how
if-
Bell got?
I was just about to say
Yeah,
that.
thanks.
If there is if the law or the bell invites you to their house for a title defense, you will lose on a
But
7.
you'll be full.
The 7.
On a 7.
But you'll be full and you'll have plenty of bourbon to drink.
Yep.
And you may walk away without the belt, but you're gonna walk away having a great time, and you won't even think about that loss that you took. But listen, the door's open. I got plenty of parking in my driveway. Come on.
Mhm.
All right. Well, while we got here for 2 more minutes there, Law, let's go over the promos for this CAC coming up on March
Let's see 'em.
1st. All right, the first one up is no
takebacks at House Rules Gaming. Once per match, when your target would move any number of cards from their discard pile to their deck, they do not move any cards. This one, not off of gimmicks, just off of anything.
Yeah.
Really
I mean-
powerful, but only once.
Yeah, I don't know. The only once to me that makes it. I'm playing floats with the root beers or whoever they are.
Great entrance.
And That's a hard. That's going to be a hard instrument for me to ever give up. I like this gimmick a lot. Early game when you're in danger. Late game, I'm not as stoked on it.
Mhm.
I don't know. And you're passing and bearing at the end.
No. Because some people don't like the pass and bury game. Some people will actively add extra cards back into their hand, trying to go the quicker route.
So the difference between this and Never-Ending Rivalry is Never-Ending Rivalry goes from discard to any location. So if it's discard to hand, Never-Ending Rivalry will work, and this will not.
Right.
But this is a late game in the pass bury phase.
Interesting question on interaction with the main event crowd meter on this. Could you deny your opponent the shuffle back?
Yes.
I mean, it seems like it, yeah. Once per turn.
All
Any reason, right? Yeah.
There's no reason it wouldn't.
Yeah,
Yep.
there you go.
Yeah. All right, what else we got?
We got the most magical hold. Follow-up submission. Reveal the top 2 cards of your deck. Choose one and play it as an additional card this turn on 15.
The new number 15 has hold as a keyword.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Let me look at my
Good
dang.
card.
It's a good card.
Mhm.
Needed that.
I think
Good
the
card.
13 came out at
What-
the last CAC.
Yeah, I got hit
What
with
a
it in one
painful
of the
looking
matches.
hold.
Yeah. Learning.
Learning the house rules, number 13. If your agility is greater than your opponent's, stop any follow-up or finish grapple. When you stop a card, the stop card has blank text until the end of the turn.
Banhammer block. Great card. Great card.
Mhm.
Jilly now has it.
Yep.
And then finally, Think
The
Tank.
new think tank.
A new
Think Tank.
with new logo. So you got Thinking in the Brain, the corner office, and Brain Still Standing on here. So
Of course, the Thinky and the Brain is a not
Tor-
yet released
Tornado.
tornado.
Yeah, the tornado not out yet, right?
Oh,
If
you
you're-
mean we can't use the Thinker sub? No.
No.
Mhm.
Nope.
If you're, I wonder why. If your opponent won the last turn roll or rolled their highest skill this turn roll, you may re-roll your turn roll. If you re-roll a turn roll and the same skill, your
Yeah, it's
opponent
literally
must
corner
bury.
office.
Same
Yeah.
exact. Yeah.
Thinking in
Because
the
it-
Brain looks great too.
Oh
Because
yeah,
corner
Thinking in the Brain looks
office-
amazing.
Wow.
Corner office gimmick does not scale. I should say it does scale. So it's just as strong in trios as it is in tornado.
Yep.
So ain't no reason not to.
Don't fix what's not broken.
Right.
But there's some sneaky finishes in the Thinking in the Brain too that really work well with that.
yeah. They were on
If I had to
ETU.
guess.
They were on
Yeah,
ETU. They're very sneaky.
Also, speaking about that, folks, because the boss is lost in the moon because someone decided to put them in there,
I
there
didn't
will
put
be
them there.
no expanding the universe.
Hey,
This
I wanted to
week.
ruin Todd Brooks'
Ever
day.
again.
Jesus, man.
Mhm.
All right, yeah. No,
Well, but you're still Slamilton's still gonna ask.
yeah, I know. I'll get a phone call at 3:00 in the morning, as is tradition.
Other
All right,
things
that was
happening
permission.
this. Yeah.
I do have
Other
more
things
spoilers as well
Okay.
too.
But before we go to those, we do have Thursday Night Fights number 183 happening tomorrow with a Beast Unchained top 4.
Ooh,
So be ready for that.
all right.
All right. What other spoilers we got?
I got Super Lucha spoilers.
Super Lucha spoilers.
Yeah,
Super Lucha spoiler.
Oh no!
Oh,
Why
no.
did you have to say that, Schmidt?
because I had to. That's why. Oh Jesus, he's here.
Folks, I would like to introduce the Lucha Maniacal Uber Star.
I go without any introduction. Chibi, I know this isn't your fault. Brian Schmidt, it's actually not your fault either,
No, it's-
even though I just going to despise you. But do not show them.
No. Okay. So first one we're gonna show off here is
How dare you?
Cringe T.
I'm going back to destroy the universe.
Okay, go ahead. Bye.
Yep.
Uh,
Cringe T. When you or your target break out, add 1 strike or submission from your discard pile to your hand.
interesting.
I mean,
I'm back. I had to use the
after
bathroom.
the breakout, nothing too big. We just got Cringe T on the screen.
Oh,
So,
nice.
kind of similar to Alien Invader. No, I'm thinking wrong.
Not really. It's
It-
got the
no,
same
not
trigger.
really at all.
Same trigger of the breakout. But I mean, you get to add cards that were in play right before that, so it's even better.
Seems good.
All right, here we go. The finish sub, the Gray's Probe. 1 to power, 2 to grapple. If you broke out last turn, This is also a lead. That's an
And
alien
it works
invader,
with the
folks.
finish because you could have taken it right back to your hand if you had just hit it.
Yeah.
You could
Yep.
just keep probing over and over again.
Oh,
Oi.
ugh.
Finish
Cringe
grapple.
T, phone home. Your
Your technique and strike are +1 for each finish in your discard pile.
that's a 1 to grapple. And then
All right.
finally, the strike finish, which 1 to agility, 2 to strike, 1 to grapple, unidentified flying saucer dive.
The UFSD. Okay.
All right. It's got dive. All right. Next one we're going to bring up is, let's bring up Draculina.
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 Blah, blah, blah.
I think you're going in order, it looks like.
Yeah, I actually, you know, this is, I talked to Steve. I was like, Steve, what are we doing? He's like, these are what you're doing. Draculina, Calope?
And
Bats.
Calliope.
Calliope. Okay.
+1
Okay.
to agility for each finish card in your discard pile.
Oh, it says each Draculina card in your discard pile.
I don't think there's any 1 through 27s that have Draculina on them.
Probably not, but still. Yeah,
Mhm.
dive. Yeah. Dive. Yeah. The finish of Mystery. What's he doing? What's she doing in Llama Senior?
It's a grapple, or it's a submission, obviously.
Obviously.
If you and your opponent roll the same skill for your turn roll, you may re-roll your finish roll. Quite
Okay.
deadly.
Pretty good.
Assault and Battery.
Oh, assault and battery.
+1 to agility, +3 to strike. Your opponent randomly reveals cards from their hand and buries them until they reveal a card with an odd number.
Ooh,
That's odd.
that's odd.
And last but not least, Sangrelation. She's about to bite her.
The vampire.
Them, yeah.
Yes, but not with just 2 teeth. No, just like take a chunk out of her.
All
Yeah,
of her teeth.
I mean, vampires can do that too.
Yeah, +1 to agility, +3 to strike, +1 to submission. Your opponent buries 2 cards in their hand.
That is very true. All right. That
I
would
mean,
be-
Elder Dan told me about all that stuff that vampires do. It's
Okay.
Oh, I don't know.
man.
That seems made up.
I've never heard of.
You think Elder
vampire-
Dan's lying? Oh man,
I just don't think that you know, I don't know. I'm not gonna comment one way or the other.
All right, what's next, Schmidt?
My favorite. I am very excited for this lucha. Ladies and gentlemen, if you played Marvel vs. Capcom, you're going to love the strike
no.
finish. Ladies and gentlemen, Vic de Doom!
Vic de Doom. Once per match during anyone's turn, draw 4 cards. I feel like there's things that are gonna abuse that.
Yeah.
Seems great.
Steel
good.
Pipe Constrictor. 1 to sub, 5 to grapple, shuffle 4 cards from your discard pile into your deck. Love it.
That's
Love it, love
fantastic.
it, love it. I'm just doing something real quick. I do apologize. The next one is Sinister Sledgehammer de Doom.
De
1 to
Doom.
agility, 2 to strike, 3 to grapple.
Doom.
Draw 4 cards.
Look, he's knocking out Evil Ed the Cheesehead in that one.
Right? Oh no, that's Cheesy McCheesy.
Yep.
Cheesy
McCheesy.
McCheesy.
And then
Yep.
finally, my favorite, Foot Dive de Doom. 1 to
But
power,
De Doom.
3 to strike, 2 to sub, discard 2 cards from your hand. Oh, that's just.
So powerful, it needs to nerf you.
It doesn't need to nerf you. It's a foot dive.
Yeah, but you're losing 2 cards from your hand.
It's a foot dive. Sorry, I'm marking out for a foot dive. Am I allowed to do that, folks?
Yes.
I like
Oh.
I like Saint Macho. That's one of my favorites.
Yeah. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining us on the reveal. Oh boy, did you let him out of the menagerie there, Chibi?
Is it my turn to come on yet, comrades?
Oh no!
What?
Well, the goose is loose.
The
No,
goose.
The goose
The
is
goose
loose,
is loose.
folks.
All right,
That's all.
ladies.
Oh yes, it is me. I've returned, friends.
All right.
Disallowed.
No. El
The-
Gonzo Russo.
All right, we're done with the spoilers section.
Nope.
Duck of the week.
No, I don't have
Yes,
a
yes, I paid big American money for this competitor.
That's
Gimmick,
good. I'm glad it
That's
wasn't
copy your
rules.
target's entrance or your first turn roll is +6.
Yes, yes, what yours is mine and mine is yours. Spirit of Russia.
No,
This
what's
can't be real.
yours
This
is
can't be
mine
real.
and mine is mine.
He's an orange.
Hey,
snake.
Overstar, we finally agreed on something.
Uh-oh.
Donnie and-
The Golden Goose, +2 to grapple. If you roll strike for your finish roll,
All
your
right, I got
opponent cannot break
Oh
out.
my
What's with all of these people taking the wording, your opponent cannot break out all of a sudden?
What?
They just
Wow.
want to win. I mean, that's right. They just want to win the game. They don't want to.
Well,
Obviously.
in Soviet Russia, you lose. I guess so, right?
Yes, when Golden Goose is hit, you lose.
Soviet Sickle, +1 to power, +3 to agility. Copy the text of a card your opponent has in play.
Oh wow.
Hopefully this is not a submission match or a TLC match, because you could be in great danger.
Yes, like I said, what's yours is mine.
And finally, the Gonzo Hammer. +2 to agility, +2 to strike. If you have 10 or more cards in your hand, this is also a follow-up.
Oh man.
Do not play Director of Operations against them.
Oh God, no! For the love of God,
Yeah.
do not do that. All right, those are your Super Lucha spoilers for this week. Boss will be back next week if we get him undigitized from the moon.
Not
Yeah,
going to happen.
I don't know. No ETU tomorrow, as Chibi said. Law, do you have anything else for us, or are we good for tonight?
One thing I'll put out there is, go out to your local stores, demo,
Yep.
get new players.
Yep.
I mean, that's the heart and soul of Super Show. I'm excited to see what the Midwest Coast does and to make them relevant again. Because they were years ago. I mean, they were after the Tri-State. They became the powerhouse of Super Show, and now I think it's clearly shifted down to the Deep South. And obviously, Deep South is the best region. However, I would love to see the Midwest Coast rebuild and get back to where their former glory. I would really like to see a West Coast region pop up.
I think we all do.
And I think that the only way to do that is by getting out there, playing games at your local stores, demoing games at your local stores. I'd love to see that. So please do that. And then if you're scrolling on the internet or if you're on Facebook and get an advertisement for a convention that is between like the end of March and before June, hey, it's a decent size convention that we're not going to. Hey, hit me up. I'd love to hear about that. Always looking to add conventions to the circuit to get more players in and do that.
Yep.
So please get out and do that. And other than that, that's all I got for you guys.
Let's see. Do we have anything? Chibi already talked about tomorrow next Thursday. The CCC finals we're still waiting on. All right, bye man.
Bye guys.
Bye,
Bye
man.
man. CCC finals. We'll wait on the boss to come back with what's going forward with that. Get your promos out there for as well too. I believe that's it for Talk the Universe tonight. It's 9:47 on the Eastern Soundboard. There will be no ETU tomorrow.
Okay.
No one's online for us, so
Yeah, we could have just gone away with that first bye man, but here's second. Bye man.
No geese.
No goose.
the goose is loose there, Jeremy. I'm sorry.